Intrapersonal listening is the final branch of the listening taxonomy that we're going to be covering. And it's defined as listening to yourself to lead your thoughts, your attitudes, and your actions. Quick preview. We're going to share with you the sequence, very important sequence. Go back to the ages-old story of the tale of the two wolves. Learn about self-affirmations and how to actually make them. Create a 21-day intrapersonal listening action plan. You're going to take the listening preferences profile. We're going to look at a case between a husband and a wife, and then finish up by meeting an extraordinary listening leader. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. It all begins with the thought." Everything begins with the thought. I listen to the voice that speaks within myself, she says. I listen to this inner voice carefully. And so the sequence, which begins with the thought, goes like this. The thoughts create beliefs, and the beliefs turn into attitudes. The attitudes shift to a feeling, and a feeling prompts behaviors. This sequence takes place in nanoseconds, but everything begins with a thought. Speaking of which, the old Cherokee ancient tale of the two wolves. Grandfather is teaching his grandson a life lesson.
Tell me more, Grandfather.
Well, grandson, inside of each and every human being, a constant battle rages. It's a battle between two wolves. One of the wolves is evil. He's full of hate, lust, greed. His fangs drip with bitterness and strife. And the other wolf is a good wolf. And he's full of love and compassion and honesty. And he never betrays his brother. These two wolves are constantly at war.
Grandfather, which wolf is going to win?
Whichever one you feed.
Grandpa asked the big question. Which wolf do you feed? Good wolf or bad wolf? I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm feeding that bad wolf, and it's not productive. So what we want to do is we want to look at ways that we can change, re-script, if you will, these negative messages. Some psychologists believe that people have as much as 75 to 77% of the messages flowing through their mind are negative, counterproductive, or work against what they really want to accomplish. Well, that's not very healthy. So the self-affirmation is one way that we can try to change those thoughts into something more productive. Here's how we do it. We use the 3 Ps. Statement is positive, it's personal, and it's present tense. An example would be, I prepare for each session to maximize my learning. I prepare for each session to maximize my learning is a positive statement, isn't it? It's personal because it begins with the word I, and it's present. Look at the verb prepare, not will prepare, not prepared, past, but current, present tense. And we can build a habit to be able to re-script our messages from negative to positive. Thought precedes attitude, precedes action. Action's the key. So here's a 3-week or 21-day intrapersonal listening action plan. Very simple. Write down negative self-talk phrases as they come into your mind. You can write them on a Post-it note or a note card. And then immediately write the self-affirmation. You're converting from negative to positive. You can then ceremoniously turn the note or the card over and draw a line through that original statement so it's gone. And then after you do this a number of times, you get used to the process, then you don't need to write it down. You can do it real time in your mind. And that's what we're heading towards. Some folks say it takes about 21 to 40 days to establish a new habit. Unfortunately, I think it takes much, much longer to cement a habit. Let's go out a year. Are you still doing it? How about 2? Then we've got a habit. I think 21 to 40 days is recognizing the beginnings of a new habit. But try this out. Give it a test. See what you think. It's totally up to you. You're in command. Ultimately, thought leads us through the sequence to behavior. You're going to have an opportunity to take the listening preference profile instrument. It's on Canvas, and this is all about identifying your primary listening style. We've already, in previous mile markers, have covered the communication style. This is the listening style. And so what I'd like you to do is to stop the video, go to Canvas, download the document on the listening preferences profile, print it out, and then actually take it. It's 20 items. Probably will take you 2 to 3 minutes to go through these. You're circling levels of frequency for each item. And it's self-scoring, so you don't have to rely on anybody else. After you've done with those 20 items, you then go and score it out, and then the interpretation will come with the number that you have for each of these preferences. The higher the number, the stronger the preference. You may have one particular preference that's way above others, or you may have a couple. Some people have 3. When you're finished, then start the video again, and we'll give a little bit more explanation around each one. Welcome back. Give you a little acronym to remember these preferences. PACT, P-A-C-T, people, action, content, time. Let's quickly look at each one. In the document, you have them identified with a descriptor and then positive and negative characteristics. Read your own, but also scan the other ones as well. The people-oriented listener, just as the name implies, it's people first. They are interested in feelings and emotions. They're empathetic. They enjoy listening to other people's stories and examples. And in small group situations, they're terrific at nurturing relationships and helping members get along. The action-oriented listener wants to get to the bottom line very quickly. So be brief when you're communicating with an action-oriented listener. Be organized. And they're going to be skeptical. They want evidence. So give them the evidence. In small group situations, they help to keep the group on track. They're very focused. Content-oriented listener wants data. The more, the better. They like supporting material. They really enjoy listening to complex information. And in small groups, they're terrific at analyzing all the information that's presented to them, as well as taking notes. Then we have the time-oriented listener, and again, as the name implies, that's the key thing that's important to them. So if you say to a time-oriented listener, "Do you have a minute?" they'll hold you to it. And at the end of those 60 seconds, they're on to the next thing in their mind. They prefer brief meetings. They like organization as well. They want to stay on task. And in small groups, schedule's the key. Let's keep to the schedule. So each of these four are the primary styles. If we go back to principles of breakthrough communication, one of the principles is speak from the heart in the other person's language. Well, what this is really lifting up to us is that imagine if we know what the other person's orientation is. We can then send them messages that hit to the heart of their listening style. Most likely we'll keep them on the small departure rather than them going into a tangent, a private argument, large departure, or maybe even falling asleep on you. Again, these are really crucial to be able to use in daily life. And I invite you to think about all of the different applications that you could come up with in your own life, whether it be on the job, off the job, with your family, with friends, all kinds of things. The problem is that when you have different listening preferences involved, there can be a clash. And so that's why if we bring up the platinum rule, do unto others as they want to be done unto, or treat others the way they want to be treated, they want to be treated in their listening style preference, even if ours is exact opposite. I have a case for you in video format on Canvas of a husband and wife, Ellen and Linda, that have contrasting styles. This was also spotlighted on 2020, and you're going to see Dr. Watson in the video, and they actually take the listening preferences profile, and you'll see their distinctive styles. We'll end this session by introducing you to John Francis. He's going to share a TED Talk with you on his experience. It's exceptional, extraordinary. He stopped speaking for 17 years on purpose. And you're going to learn how he did it, what he learned, and can you imagine 17 years of golden pause and the accomplishments that he had during that time frame? So a quick review. We shared with you the sequence, Tale of the Two Wolves, how to create self-affirmations, the 21-day action plan, the LPP. You're going to watch the case of Ellen and Linda, and the TED Talk with John Francis. The call for action is lead your thoughts as you practice this purpose of intrapersonal listening to the fullest level. That brings us back to the gate. The gate recognizes that we always have room to expand. And the wider we expand, the deeper the art and practice of searing goes. day by day. And if we do it with purpose and intention, we will make today count.